Well, we are now ready to remove the welder from the Army truck, and we're going to go ahead and mount that right here on this back left corner of this service truck here. We need to remove these studs, get them removed from there. I've got another little spacer plate that I'm going to put in here. It's just a piece of composite decking, and we're going to fasten right down through those pieces there to hold the welder in place. We need to remove this bracket, and we're going to go ahead and remove our cooler bracket as well. We could leave that on there and use it for a hand wash unit, but I think we're just going to take it right off altogether. So we'll get things set up, and then we'll get this welder moved over from the one truck and get it onto this one. Alright, so we have this welder all unbolted from the Army truck. Now what we could do is use the forklift, but that would be silly. So we're going to go ahead and use the crane on this truck. We'll just have to use the manual controls. So we start the engine up, turn the main on. That'll allow the PTO to run. And then we'll run the manual controls on the winch here, or on the crane. Gotta grab a pair of pliers. I can put that into manual mode. So we just have to take this little knob here. Well, that is out as far as it will go. And I'm not so sure if I'm even gonna be able to set this down on that side, but if I didn't use the crane, I'd have about 100 people asking me why I didn't just use the crane to get the welder off of there. Yeah, what is that, 20 foot?
I don't know.
It's got to be 20 foot.
How old's that silo?
That silo's 30.
You should see if you can get it. I think you might. I don't know. You might be, well, that's sitting down though.
At first I
picked it up from the road, you could probably get it on top of that silo.
At first I forgot to put the outriggers out. And then you gotta watch it being on a little bit of a hill like that. You take your emergency, you take your park brake away. Huh? Alright.
What's up?
Well, we basically had an idea of what that was gonna kind of look like. However, I did not like the looks of the bottom of this welder, so we ran a wire wheel over it quickly and threw some primer on there and went ahead and threw some paint on it as well. And then these studs up on the top of the body, I ran a die down both of those. These are going to hold the back of the welder down, and we're going to have to drill holes through the mount up on the front side. So we'll go ahead and see if we can't get this setting into place alone. We might have to wait for a hand or two to get that guided down into place. The remote would be very nice to have at this point, but we're just going to have to work with what we've got. Okay, so we have the welder all mounted down. That is bolted to the top of that unit there, and then what they had is a piece of 3/4 inch flat bar on here with studs in it. However, they had it figured for a different size welder. I used a piece of composite decking underneath the backside just so I wouldn't have to put a piece of steel in there and paint it and do all that kind of stuff. So what we have here now is the alarm tag from Adkins to dial into this crane to try to get this remote here synced up to the receiver. If this doesn't work, then we're going to have to replace the receiver. But in order to get them to sync with each other, you have to have this alarm tag, and they were so nice to send it to me. And the company that built this body is Adkins Truck Equipment Company out of Charlotte, North Carolina. I can't say enough good things about these guys. They have been very helpful here with helping me along to get this crane operational. I did reach out to Auto Crane as well. However, they cannot work with the end user. They were glad to have tested the remote to see if the remote was okay, but after that, when it comes to buying parts or anything, you have to go through a dealer. So we're going to go ahead and get this opened up. I do not know what this consists of. And then what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to get this figured out and either order a receiver for it, or, boy, this thing ain't that big. Order a receiver for it, or hopefully this will just work. This, all it is a plug. That's all it is. So there's some instructions in here, and we're going to follow them. That's all it is this guy here, and that's going to plug into a plug up in there. There is some instructions here, so I'm going to read them quick, and I'm going to try to figure this out. Okay, so we ended up getting this remote to about half work. There's this little alarm tag, and that helps the remote sync to the receiver. Now I have some of these functions. I can stop the engine from the remote. I can restart the engine from the remote. Auxiliary, I can turn the air compressor on from the remote. So that's on. You guys can't hear it, but it's on. It's pumped up the pressure, so it's just kind of idling, sitting in place. So we'll shut that off. We can fast idle it, and we can idle down. We have a couple of things that don't work because there is some safety devices that are screwed up. One of them is the anti-rotation device right there. That has got one broke on the front side, and both stems are plugged clear up into the unit. So we can put the boom all the way up, but it won't go down. We cannot rotate it all because of those rotation devices. We can cable out, but we can't cable in. The reason why we can't cable in is because there's a safety device up on the end. So if you pull that pulley block up too far, it hits a sensor. And when it hits that sensor, it kicks it off. So I got to put this in manual and get it down into the position that it's got to go in, and I've got to order those two switches there. They plug in to the unit, and then we need that safety device up top. But if we power this down manually, it might work some. I'm not sure. Okay, so the one device that he was wondering about is this guy here. This guy. And then they didn't know if there was a bad spot in this cord somewhere. So this is just a safety for one. Okay, so there's a button. Okay, so this is bent. It's not down on top of that button. So if I shove something in there, I might be able to get this to work. That might be okay. Let's try shoving this. Okay, so that might work now. Where's my pliers? So I gotta take it out of manual mode. Alright, now where's my controller? Alright, let's see if we can get cable to go in or out. Alright, so we got boom going up and down now. We don't have rotation because we need the rotation device. We got boom going out. We got boom going in. There's boom up and down. We got cable going out. Cable going in, so we are good. All we need to do is to fix the rotation device. The rotation switch is right there, so we're gonna go ahead and get this cradled back into place and work on those. So I'll show you what I did with this switch. There's a button inside here, and I'm not sure if this is adjustable, but at any rate, that is not coming against it. So in the event that this comes away from that button, so we have to adjust that in order to get that to work. And yeah, we need to get those rotation devices undone, and yeah. Well, we learned quite a little bit about this crane. So all we have for a problem with it now is that rotation device there that stops it so that it can't go. I guess it's not supposed to go just right around and around. So we got those switches off, There's one for each direction. And this one here is broke, but I think it's still going to be functional. This little roller wheel here would ride up over the top of that little metal bracket that is on the crane itself. I took this one apart and there's a button inside, and what that would do, it's open circuit now, or it's a closed circuit now, and then when this gets pushed, it'll make it open and stop the rotation of the crane. I've got this guy off of there, and you could see that this, I was able to pound down through here and get this to extend out. So what we need to do is lube this up and get this operational, and then we'll do the same thing with this one. We'll remove this, try to get that pounded down and get it freed up so that this will move freely, or we can just extend it out, put it back on, it'll be operational. We'll just have to make sure that we don't go too far with it. So we'll lube this up, and then we'll get these back together, and we'll see how we make out with that part of it. Another thing that this has, it won't let the cable go in any farther when that little thing is flipped up. So if you had that hook down and you pulled it in too far, it would stop the movement of the winch, and it would also stop the movement of extending the boom. The other safety that it has, it won't let you bring that cable in on the winch once you set down on the saddle. There's a sensor in this valve block right here that's on this cylinder to raise this boom up and down. It detects negative pressure on the upside of that cylinder, to whereas it will kick out the winch function. And I'm not sure if it'll allow you to extend the boom at all either when the saddle is down. So it's got some safety features to it that won't allow an idiot to wreck anything. So let's get some of this stuff freed up, and we'll see how we make out. We might have to order some new safety switches, but that's okay. So let's see how we end up doing here. Alright, I believe I've got this one freed up enough where we can just slap it back together here. Boy. It's really not freed up enough. We're going to extend it out, put it back together, make sure it works with it plugged in, and then if that's the case, we're going to be good. We'll just order some new ones. We'll find where that other screw went. Amazon truck right there. This one is broke, jammed. That chain wrench. Perfect. Okay, so I think I've got to order new ones because these are just stiff enough, whereas I think they're just going to be a constant problem, especially with this one that's kind of broken. So we'll just have to put this back together and we'll plug it in and we'll see if it works. So, what we're going to do is set my speed down a little bit here. Well, I guess that's just about gonna do it with this video. We've got this about 98% operational. We've got the welder all set up and ready to go. It is still up in the air where I exactly want to put the leads. My original intention was to cut a hole in right here, put a little rain cap on it, run my leads in through this cabinet, pull out some shelves, hang my leads in this back left corner. But what we've went and done is we have hung the welder leads in the torch cabinet here. There is a lot of room in that cabinet, and we're not doing a ton of welding anyways. And for right now, I'm going to put some thought into this, but for right now, we're just going to take the lead out, plug it into the back of the welder, or the front of the welder rather, and then run it that way. If this is the spot we want to leave them, we'll drill a hole through the compartment for the leads. We'll run the leads up along the front of the body, underneath the tarp, and we'll just secure them to this outer side here. We can bring it right along here and then bring them out and around and have them plugged into the welder. It's not going to be a big deal. It's going to take another extra step to unhook the lead from that compartment and bring it around and plug it into the welder. Unwrap what you need, or if you park what you need to, if you parked next to what you're going to weld on this side, you pull off what you need for the work cables and go from there. We have a lot of available space still left in this unit. We've got this whole compartment here. We have most of this one. I've got just small containers, one with standard bolts, one with metric bolts, but maybe the thing to do would be to expand that and put all fasteners in here. Just put dividers in and you know, go accordingly. It's hard to have everything on board, but it would be nice to have a good majority of what you need. I've got bottle jacks that I want to put on here yet. I've got a few tools left that I've ordered that haven't come in yet. We've got ratchet wrenches, standard wrenches, regular wrenches, all Pittsburgh tools. However, I lack a couple of pieces. I've got 2 of every wrench. And as far as the sockets go, we are 1/4, 3/8, 1/2 inch, standard and metric, short and deep sockets, and we've got 12 points and 6 points. Those are in the chrome. I know you see a lot of fancy colors in there. That's just cheap. Harbor Freight sockets, and then we've got, of course, our impact socket drawer. Again, combined with the chrome tools, we have 2 of every exact socket. If you break a 5/8 impact socket, a deep one, you've got a 5/8 shallow one. If you break that one, we've got a chrome one. We can jump up to 1/2 inch drive, what have you. Extensions, ratchets. This is not completely loaded down, but for the most part, I believe it should be able to get us out of any bit of a predicament that we get into. Now, I've got the hood up on this. I do need to change the oil on it. We'll get more involved in the actual engine on this when we dump the oil out of it. I don't even know what kind of an engine this is. I just thought I would open up the engine bay to kind of show you how everything is all real nice and clean. Again, being that this truck came out of the south, there's not any rust on it. This is a 2016, so it's approaching 9 years old. And if this was a truck that originated in New York State, I mean, you got some rust on these bolts, these steps would be brown. The frame rails would be brown. Everything would be covered in a big coating of rust. I mean, the steering box rather would be brown. This is a galvanneal body, and we will go through and put fluid film on it. And these guys at Adkins, when I bought this truck, I wanted to know about a welder mount. I called them up. They were real nice. Wanted to know what the serial number was. Gave me the particulars on the body. They went here and there and above and beyond what any company would do for you with somebody that's really not buying anything from them. I mean, I have a body here that they made, but you know, it was, I bought this used, and then they helped me out real well with that crane. Now, we didn't go into an in-depth way of syncing that remote to the receiver because they were so kind to send that to me. I wanted to get right to it, figure out what was going on. I thought I was going to be on the phone with them quite a bit, and we just jumped right into it. All there is a plug right there. You unplug that, plug in the alarm tag, go through a procedure where you power the unit up turn the remote on, power that, wait till it acknowledges that it's searching for the remote. You hit the clockwise rotation button on the remote. That assigns the remote to the receiver. You unplug the alarm tag while the unit is powered up. Shut the unit down, plug in the original tag, shut everything down, repower everything up again, and you are good to go. We had some issues because of some goofy sensors that were offline, and that was all that was. That didn't have anything to do with the remote not working in the first place. After we got it synced to the receiver, it started working. We never had that function before with it when we took possession of it. Then we kind of had to figure out that we had some safety devices that were slightly offline. But the guys at Adkins, they gave me a few things to look at, and they pointed me in the right direction. Without never running this crane before, you know, you usually stumble upon them things when you have been able to use something for a while. So this should be a very good truck to last us a real long time. This Army truck has served us well. We've had to put a transmission in it and a turbo and stuff like that. This truck come out of Tennessee as well, and this truck we replaced the service body on it a 3 years ago, and this truck was manufactured for the U.S. military by General Motors Corporation. So this is an actual Army surplus vehicle. It does have a 24 volt, I don't think I have it on this bumper anymore. We ripped that off. It had a 24 volt electrical plug for a trailer on it, and it has a 24 volt alternator on it as well. So that is going to do it for this video. We've got to get an oil filter service kit for this. We need to go through it from the front bumper to the back as far as the chassis goes. Go through it, grease it, do all them particulars, but for the rest of it, it is sound. It should serve us very well. I don't really know much about these Hinos other than you see quite a few of them out there doing various things. I think that was an international, but an Amazon truck went down by a little while ago that you guys seen in the video. That was a Hino something or other. These trucks, I had talked about it earlier on in the video. They are part of the Toyota Corporation, and I don't know if I read somewhere if they're the third largest medium duty truck manufacturer or the largest medium duty truck manufacturer in the world. Now, just because you don't see a lot of them here doesn't mean there isn't a ton of them overseas and in other parts of the world. So this should do well. So that's gonna do it, folks. I want to thank everybody for watching, and we will catch you at the next one. Doesn't have enough air in it. Now this weighed 20,500 pounds before we added anything to it. The Army truck weighed somewhere in the neighborhood of 12,000 pounds with all of the equipment on it. But now we have added torches, welder, tools, and what have you. So drop a comment down below if you want to guess how much weight we have on here. It's about 1,300 pounds. We weigh 21.8. So, how close was everybody with their numbers? Alright, that'll do her. Take it easy, folks.